G'day, mates. This is Oscar Brittain, and you're listening to We Are One, You Are Two podcast.
All right, welcome everybody to another episode of We Are One, You Are Two. This is a PlayStation and video game podcast. I am your host, as always, Robert Fanzo. I'm joined once again this week by my co-host, Matt Rhodes.
Hello.
And we have a very special guest this week, so it's going to be one of our indie interview weeks. Joining us this week, his game comes out on the 11th of December, so by the time you're listening to this, it should be out. Everyone welcome Oscar Brittain. Oscar, how are you today?
Good. How are you?
Hanging in there. We appreciate you coming on and hanging out with us today.
No, thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. We're excited. I came across your game because of I saw a trailer for it a while ago, and it was kind of one of those ones that, I got to be honest, just kind of, I saw that it had a future release date, and I thought, okay, I'll get to it when it gets there. I think it was an E3 trailer. And then I saw that announcement trailer, and what caught my eye from the one you put out about 2.5 weeks ago was you were sitting there with looked like a cup of wine and a towel wrapped around your head.
Yeah. Yep.
And I was like, I have to talk to this guy. So if you don't mind me asking, I guess to kind of kick us off, what makes you decide to, as a developer, kind of step in front of the camera for your own announcement trailer?
We just kind of run out of things to film, like or things to put in a trailer. So it was just like, what can we do? And because we were like, we just want to have like a little thing. And yeah, I don't really know. It was like Yoon-sung, the marketing guy from Akapara, was just like, yo, why don't you just put yourself in front of the camera and you could just say some weird shit, like do this. And I was like, all right. we had all these like crazy ideas. We were like, we wanted to do this like one long take that was going to be like, This Is America by Childish Gambino. And we're like, what if we did something like this long thing where I'm just like talking about the game and like walking through these scenarios and stuff. And then it was just like, let's just do something simple.
Okay. I would love to see that eventually exist. One long Childish Gambino type role for a game trailer like that. So tell us a little bit about yourself. For people who don't know you, don't know what you might have done in the past or what got you into game development in the first place. Tell us a little bit about who Oscar is.
Damn.
Not to get philosophical on you, but just a little bit about your background.
I don't know. I started making the game in 2016, and before that, I'd made a couple of games. I made like my first like proper game, I would say, was called World's Fastest Pizza, and that went out like March in 2016, and it was like this little kind of roguelike thing. After that, just had this little prototype for this like parallax thing. I had I drew this picture of the guy riding a bike, and then I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. It's like flashback. And then I was like, I wonder what kind of game I could make out of that. And I just kind of worked on it from there. And I was working on this other game at the same time called like One Night Only, where you just kind of like walked around this city and talked to people and stuff. It was this really like weird visual novel thing. And I was kind of like, I like doing that, but there needs to be like a core game behind it as well. So then I kind of got this like racing parallax scrolly thing and just put it in with this other game and just like mashed the two together, and that became Desert Child.
Okay.
Yeah, that's sort of where the game came from. Yeah. And I was like studying architecture at the time as well at uni. Yeah, I like had this like picture. I'm looking at it right now actually, of like that I drew for like an assignment that all my lecturers and tutors were just like, this sucks. This is terrible. And I really liked it. So I kind of like redrew it into the game as like the first background that you're in, like the town that you're first from. So it was kind of like my sticking it to like them, and then I dropped out, and it was great.
I was going to ask if, yeah, it sounded like that was kind of like up yours kind of
Yeah.
decision there to include it.
It was sort of like subconscious, but yeah.
Yeah. You mentioned about your first game, World's Fastest Pizza, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, in this one, correct me if I'm wrong, you also deliver pizzas. And so is that kind of...
Oh, in the game, you mean?
Yeah, in Desert Child. And so is that your...
Like in real life, I don't deliver pizza.
No.
I'm like, man, where did that come from?
Yeah, we just pull random facts out.
We just make the facts up as we go.
You just say things and then I just have to roll with it. I'm just like, oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the character in the game, right, delivers pizza, collects gun parts. Like, that's part of your description. Is that kind of a homage or a nod to the first one, or is that just kind of is that the conscious choice?
Yeah, I kind of. It was kind of weird because like I had this idea of like, because initially I came up with the idea of like, oh, what if this parallax scrolling thing and the bike went just like in and out of the screen and stuff, and then it was like, it seems like obvious. People, I guess, like, are just like, oh, so you were always making a racing game. And it's like, no, I kind of tried about 10 different ideas for what I could do with that. And one of them was like this pizza delivery thing. And it was kind of like Paperboy. And then that made it into the actual final game. So, yeah, it's like all the different activities and things you do in the game all sort of grew out of different like tests and prototypes I did. Like there was one that was like herding cattle, and that made it into the game. That's like a thing you do and stuff. I guess the pizza thing just came because I was thinking about pizza, because I just made a game about delivering pizza. So I was like, that is a normal thing to do in a video game, you know, like it's like a go-to thing. I was like, what can I do with this mechanic? Deliver pizza.
That's kind of interesting, because that's a little bit of the, I guess, behind the scenes process of how you think or how you decide to implement things. And so I guess I'm kind of curious too, you might have kind of touched on this a little bit before, I think you said about the drawings and stuff, but what was the inspiration for the game? What kind of made you decide that, because when I look at it, it reminds me a lot of, just from the gameplay that I've watched and some of the trailers I've watched and some of the concept, it reminds me of like a mix between like Blade Runner and a couple other sci-fi movies from the 80s. And so what kind of draws I mean, maybe that's me just because I'm an English kid and I just analyze things too much. Maybe that's too much, but what was the inspiration for the game? Oh
man, it's just kind of everything. It's really one of those games, like I approached it in the way that I would approach like making music or something, where you're not really thinking about like, oh, I'm going to make it sound like this, like when you're doing it. But maybe I just had seen all those things. Like when I was making it, I just absorbed a whole bunch of stuff. So I guess like, I mean, a lot of the different places in the game that you go to are just like things I can see from my window. So it's like the little, like the little, yeah, there's like a little lunch bar in the game and you can kind of like go in there and see it. And it's just like, if you look like out from my flat window, it's just like right across the road. So yeah, I mean, that's kind of cool. I guess that like it's an inspiration to just like look out the window and see stuff. And then I was listening to a lot of those like lo-fi 24/7 hip hop stream to chill, relax, study to, you know, those like YouTube videos. So I was like putting those on when I was, I was like putting those on when I was drawing stuff. So, but that ended up being the kind of music I was like, oh, that would actually go really well with this scene. So I made like a whole ton of that music for the game. But yeah, like in terms of like real like big inspirations, I guess like Cowboy Bebop was one. I really liked that and how that really felt. I guess like what I was just saying, that felt like something where they just were just making it, and then as they went, they were like, oh yeah, I just saw this Western movie, we should put that in there, you know what I mean? Like that's kind of what that felt like to me. So that was a big influence. And like I saw a film, like again, like a lot of inspiration, because I worked on this for like 2.5 years or something, was like, I would say, I would kind of show it to people, and then they'd come back to me and be like, oh, it reminds me of Red Line. And I was like, what's that? And they're like, it's this movie you have to watch. So I would watch it and be like, oh yeah, it is like that. And I'd like steal a bit from that. And then stuff like, and like someone else was like, oh, have you seen Akira? And I'm like, no. And they're like, you've got to see Akira. It's exactly your game. I was like, oh, wow. So all that kind of stuff, I guess, just made its way in there.
Okay, I can see the Akira influence. I didn't even think about that before.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's like I saw this video on YouTube. It was like how Akira animates light or something. And it's like the opening of Akira where it's like the bike, like tail lights and stuff are just leaving these trails. And I was like, that's so cool. So I like put it in the game and stuff.
Nice.
So throughout the development process, what do you think has been like the biggest challenge for you?
I guess like it's really like boring to say, but like getting all the console stuff done. Like I'm not even like technically like we have like a porting team like doing the ports, but it's like to anyone who's like, oh, I'll just get a porting team to port my game. It's like what that means is you're not spending 8 hours a day. You're just spending like 1 hour a day because you still need to like work with them and do all this stuff to like kind of get it working. Also, we hadn't really like finished the game, or I hadn't finished the game when we started the porting process. So it was like just this constant like me like kind of breaking something and them having to fix it and stuff. And then just, yeah, like finding all the bugs and things because then like the platform you're submitting to is like, oh, if you unplug controller 1 and put it into controller 2 port and then flip it upside down and turn the console on and off 5 times, it crashes the game. And you're like, okay. So, yeah.
They're like, who's figuring this stuff out?
I know. No, it's literally like that. You just go like, how on earth are you playing this game that you managed to find this? We had one where it was like, there was this bug that you had to press the B button the very first frame. This is a 60 frames a second game, right? You had to hit the B button the first frame of like this scene and it would like crash the game. And it was like, how did you even find that? Like we were all trying to reproduce this bug and we're like, can't do it. And then finally we worked it out and it's like, it's insane. Like, how did you do that? Yeah.
Yeah, that's fascinating. I always wonder that too. Like I see all these glitches, like there's like that money glitch in Red Dead Redemption 2. And like, how do people figure this out? Like who is just like going through and doing all these weird things to try to glitch the game? Like,
I saw one that was like someone found one in like Mortal Kombat from like the 90s. And it was like, they just found it recently. And it's like, how, I guess that's how they find it. It's just like 20 years of just like hammering different button combinations and stuff. I don't know, man. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. That's nuts. And it's funny because you're not the only developer we've talked to that's talked about, you know, the porting process and the development process in regards to going through that certification stuff. Now, how did you get connected with Acapora Games? If you don't mind me asking that as well, because that's who's publishing it for you, correct?
Yeah. That was like this weird sort of serendipitous thing of like, so I was making the game and I was like polishing up this like just beginning like vertical slice. And I was like, I really want to get a publisher. I don't want to have to do all the like other stuff. And I had this like this demo and this kind of like press kit and website and everything. And then I saw on like Gamasutra, it was like, oh, Indiecade is asking for submissions. So I just submitted to that. Like it cost like $50 or something. And then they got back to me and they're like, oh, we're going to go to E3 and have like a whole bunch of like indie games like in a booth there. Do you want to come? And I was just like, yeah, that sounds fun. So I just like, and I had like all my savings and I was like, I'm just going to go to LA for a week. So I just like went to LA and did this E3 thing. And Acapara were like part of that as well. They were showing Metronomicon, which was like a game they published. Yeah, I was like really ill. I'd eaten something like weird. I can't remember what it was. And I was like really, really ill and I was just like not eating. So I was like about to faint. And then David, the CEO of Acapara, came up. He's like, dude, are you okay? Have some, and he gave me like a granola bar or something. And I was like, oh, thank you. You're an angel. And he's like, do you want to sign with us? I'm like, yes. That's basically the story. Yeah.
Had you have eaten that day, maybe you wouldn't have gotten that deal.
Mate, yeah. Like genuinely, if I had not looked about ready to collapse, like I did have to sit down at some point because I was like the only person showing it for like 3 days of like, these are like 8-hour like days at E3, you know what I mean? Like talking to people and stuff. And everyone's like, wow, you're like jet lagged, come over from Australia. You're like, ill and it's just you, and I'm just like, no, I'm fine, it's fine, and then I nearly pass out. And it's like
Well, at the very least, that probably showed your dedication to what you wanted to do for your game, you know?
Yeah, I don't know. I think it was downhill from there. It was like, I nearly died. Man, I should like, I'm going to go easy on it from now on. So, yeah, it worked out in the end, I think. And they're great. They've been like fantastic. So I was so glad that I ended up going with them and not one of the other places. Like, not to like poo-poo the other places. Maybe they would have been great as well. But like, there were I got like a bunch of offers and I was just like, that granola bar though, that was what got them over the line, and I signed with Acapara. So.
So easily won in some ways. That's good.
Yeah.
What about you yourself? Because we've talked to a lot of developers, and a lot of developers that we've gathered. You guys really grind away, and that's what we appreciate about it. Is you grind away to really. It's a labor of love, particularly with indies, because you're doing it yourself, or you're a small team of maybe 2 or 3. But what about you yourself? Do you what type of games, or if any, do you play? And how much of that time do you actually get to do that kind of stuff to kind of see what else is out there when you're trying to create something?
Yeah, I always say like, oh, none. There's the old like, oh, game developers don't play games kind of thing because they're always making them. And there is a bit of that. Like sometimes I'll sit down if I'm like playing something and I'm not totally enraptured by it. I'm just like, wow, I'm going to go do something else because it's kind of like wasting my time. If I'm just playing something that I'm like, I could have come up with this idea, then I'm like, I don't want to play this game. Like there's a brilliant idea out there that I couldn't have thought of that I should be playing. Yeah, I probably do play like more games than I actually say I do, but I don't know. Yeah, I just play like a big mix of like stuff. I played like Snake Pass recently, and I reckon that's like one of the coolest ideas I've seen in a game for ages. I'm like really into that. Another game I played on the Switch was Golf Story, which is just like, I'm like super torn between it because I'm like, this might be my favorite game on the Switch, but then I'm like, it's just golf though. Like, they didn't really invent this game. Like, it's kind of like, it's a bit like weird to give them credit for that. It's like, you guys made a great game based on a game that already exists. So yeah, I really like those. Oh, and I played like the Pokemon Let's Go recently, which I'm like pretty into. That was pretty good. But yeah, I don't know. I just play a lot of like different stuff. There's this game, like I really like playing like tiny little experimental kind of like games on like Itch and Game Jolt as well. Like there's this game that everyone should play called Deity Driving, and that's really awesome. I really like that one.
I'll have to look that up. I'm not familiar with that one.
Yeah, it's super weird. You just like play it in your browser, and I just love it. Like the guy who made it's like really cool as well.
Awesome. We'll have to check that out. Yeah, it's interesting. I find that a lot of, and I don't know if this is just coincidence or not, but I do think it's interesting to hear from guys like yourself that you almost kind of stick together with a lot of the smaller games, the smaller experiences. Do you ever jump into anything bigger that's something that's like a huge experience, or is that just kind of, because I know for me, like as somebody who works full time and everything, that just seems overwhelming to me a lot of the times to play something like a Red Dead or an Assassin's Creed or something that's bigger out there, that's AAA, that just feels overwhelming.
I find like the weird irony of those games to be like, it's open world and it's 1,000,000 hours, but then it's like really very, like you can play it for a couple of hours and be like, well, I've got the gist of this. You know what I mean? Like it ends up being like the same kind of thing for a lot of it. I haven't played Red Dead though, and that sounds kind of cool, I guess, but I'm not really into like cowboys and stuff, so I'm not that excited about it. But yeah, I mean, I played Uncharted 4 like recently, and I didn't like that. I kind of thought it was a bit lame, but I played what was it, Final Fantasy 15, like really like in like January this year or something. That was like my big because I had a Kickstarter, and then after that I was like, I need a break, so I sat down for like a week and just like plowed through that, and I really like enjoyed that because it's so like it just does all this like weird stuff that really, if you were to like tell someone like, I'm going to make this game and it's going to, you're going to drive a car that's going to be basically on rails, you're like, what? Like, what are you doing? And then like you're like, there's all this optional content that like most people won't see, and also the battle system is going to be kind of bad, and like the story is basically just like it gets more and more linear as the game goes. You'd be like, what? This sounds terrible. And then I played it and I'm like, I kind of appreciate that someone like committed and spent hundreds of millions of dollars probably making what is essentially like a bad idea work, And I kind of appreciated that. Yeah. But right. It's like, it's a unique kind of experience. I did enjoy like a lot of stuff in it. I don't think it's a good game, but like, I think that's more interesting than sometimes like, I don't know, playing Uncharted 4, which everyone's like, this is a, objectively good game. And I was like, yeah, it's all right. Just shot some guys and, that was kind of it. Yeah, I don't know. I like things that, like when a AAA game is just like something like really bizarro happened with it. And you're just like, what? How did this get made? You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of repetition out there with a lot of stuff. And I do agree. You can play certain games, and even though they're 60 or 80 hour experiences, after about 4 or 5 that the gist of what you're going to be doing. Yeah. There's very few that surprise you. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Sometimes that can be good, but then other times you're just like, I don't know, like what is this doing? Why? Like, is it just doing it to pad itself out, or is it like, is there a point to this repetition or something? Like you play like roguelikes are repetitive, but for a reason, I guess. But yeah, I don't know. I just kind of like try to take everything like one game at a time and not really be like, oh, I don't like repetitive games or I don't like big games or something, like, I mean, I just played Pokemon like all the way through like with my dad because my dad really likes Pokemon. Yeah, he like came around yesterday and we just like sat down, like beat the Pokemon League and I was like, wow, what a nostalgic experience. And that was great, but it's like a pretty derivative game, but yeah, sometimes that's what you want,
Yeah, no, absolutely. Sometimes I sit down, I just want something that's mindless, and I know I'm going to be repetitive with it, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah. Also, I really liked that game, actually, the Pokemon one. I thought it was a good game. So there you go. So I don't know what my philosophy is on like AAA versus indie or something, but
So what does kind of drive you to want to make games? Because if you play games, certainly I think that drives people. But do you think is that what it is, or do you think it's what kind of drives you to want to create? I guess in that regard, to create games specifically.
Just the stuff that doesn't exist, Like I remember when I decided like. As an adult, like when you're a kid, you're like, I want to make games. I'm going to make this and this and this. But then as an adult, I remember I had this like surgery and I was like out for a couple of months and I just got an Xbox 360 and I played Mass Effect and I was playing through it. I'm like, this is cool. But I remember and I can remember this distinctly. It was like Eric Brodvig from IGN and he was like describing the game. He's like, basically like it's this open thing where you go out and you're like an ambassador for like humanity. You're like talking to all these aliens. I'm like, that sounds sick. I want to play a game where I'm an ambassador for humanity. But then Mass Effect 1 is not really that. It's a standard RPG where you shoot people in the face. You know what I mean? Like, but it's like, he was like, oh, you're going to be able to talk your way out of like situations and stuff. I'm like, that sounds awesome. I want to play that. And then most of the game is shooting people. So I was like, I remember just being like, someone should make Mass Effect but with no shooting. Like, you just talk your way out of every situation. And I remember just being like, no one's ever going to make that game. I'm going to have to do it myself. So then I like started like looking at how to make games and stuff. Because I was like, I want to make a game where you just like have to just talk your way out of situations or something. And then to date, I've only made games where you shoot people in the face. So I don't know what, I don't know what inspires me. That's what I'm trying to say.
Oh, I appreciate the candor though. I appreciate that you're that's hilarious.
It's just, it's like when you're that age and you're just like, yeah, I was probably like 18 or something. I was just like, yeah, I'm going to make this game where you talk to people. And then you realize that's really hard. And it's easier shooting people. Like,
way less writing.
Yeah.
That's awesome. What are you most excited, going back to kind of Desert Child here, what are you most excited for people to discover, to talk about or experience with this game? Like, what are you looking forward to? Because I imagine that you just don't put it out there and want to ignore feedback or ignore the things that you hear about it. What are you excited for people to kind of dive into and find out about it?
I guess I'm going to like, I played through it for the first time on PlayStation because like we got like early copies and stuff, and I played through the whole game in like one sitting, and my girlfriend was just like, wow, there's so much like weird shit in this game. And she's like, oh, are you she's like, oh, like you must be proud that there's like so much of your like personality in this. I'm just like, oh yeah, I guess there is. And you kind of like, because you work on like little bits in isolation, you kind of forget how many times you had a choice between doing something good and doing something strange. And I was just like, yeah, I'm going to, do something really stupid. So there's a lot of really dumb stuff in this that I'm hoping people kind of latch onto. That like, yeah, I don't want to ruin it, but like there's a few characters that will sell you things that you're just like, what is this? Like, what? And some of the like missions you can take, it's like, huh? Like, yeah. I guess I'm just looking forward to like seeing people see there's like the weird game design thing of like, oh, what do you choose to cut? Do you cut the thing that like 50% of people will see, or the thing that 2% of people will see? And like the correct answer is, oh, I'll cut the thing that 50% of people see, because the 2% of people will really love that thing that they saw. And I think there's a couple of 2% things in this game that people are just going to be like, what just happened? Like, what on earth is this game about? Yeah.
Awesome.
That's good, though.
That's awesome. So I guess maybe from a PlayStation end, I'll ask this one because Matt and I are huge PlayStation fans. The trophies, I always like to bring this up because Matt gives me grief about this too. And we always joke about the naming of the trophies. Is that something that you oversaw yourself? Is that something you handed off to someone?
Absolutely not. I did that all myself. I distinctly remember having this meeting. I had like a meeting with my producer. It was, I think, the guy who was doing the porting and me, and it was like 7 a.m. for me because they're in LA, and I was just like, and then we should have this reference to this TV show and then this one. And there was like at one point we were like, I was getting my producer to like transcribe like a line from like an old Picnic Face sketch from like 2008 YouTube, you know what I mean? And it was like, do you know like the Power Thirst video? Have you ever seen that? It's like, do you want to feel so energetic? Drink Power Thirst.
No, I don't know if I've seen that.
No,
I'll have to look that one up.
Definitely look it up. It's pretty good. Yeah, like he's like, if you drink Power Thirst, you'll win at everything forever. You'll win at arson, weddings, and art. You'll even win at irony. And I was like, that should be the title, like that long ass sentence. That's the title of the Platinum Trophy. So yeah, if you get the Platinum Trophy, and today, like at the moment, only one person, Yoon Sung, the marketing director for Akapara, he has that trophy. And he's just like, sent me like a picture of it. He's just like, you jealous? I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty jealous.
I was gonna say I was kind of peeking ahead here, and I did see that the trophies are live on PSN profiles. I do see that's the name of the Platinum, and it does say one recent player who has it. So I guess that must be him.
Yeah, that's Yoon Sung. I've got a couple of them, but not the difficult ones. Like one of them is like you have to leave the game running for over an hour and not touch it. That's that's like. Yeah, David, the head of Akapara, I was like, oh, I want to do that one because it's just annoying and stupid. And I'm not like a big trophies fan. Like, I think they can do some interesting things, but like, I'm not really a fan of like having to put them in a game. But we needed like one more, and I was like, just have it run for like an hour. And I was like, that'll annoy people. And then David's like, yeah, actually, that's a good idea because it'll raise our like average playtime as well. And like, he was immediately like on the business side of things. I'm like, nice, yeah.
That's amazing. We do enjoy. We talk about this pretty much every week on our podcast when we can. But we do enjoy a good trophy list, and we do enjoy when you guys put some thought into them. Because I mean, if I'm going to see that pop up on my screen when I'm doing something, if it makes me get a good chuckle or a good laugh, or if it's,
some of them are strange.
Yeah, I love it when they're strange.
Yeah, they're just weird. You're like, what on earth are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
And there's some too. It's just like literally the Platinum Trophy, or some of the trophies are just called like high score or Platinum Trophy or congrats. And it's like, well,
yeah,
if you put them in there and I screwed around with your game for, I let it run for over an hour, you might as well
right.
amuse me while I get it. So,
yeah.
But I was just curious about that.
Yeah, if you run it for an hour, it just comes up. I think the trophy's called like, well, you've wasted your life or something. So it's like that was a lot of fun, wasn't it? Like, it's like something really stupid like that. Yeah, I think one of them, I'm trying to remember, I think one of them is like, it's like the address of this really great noodle restaurant that I like. And if you get it, it just gives you the address. I think that one got in there. I don't know if we were allowed to do that one in the end, but yeah, I'm pretty sure we did that. Yeah. And there's one about like an Aquaman as well. And it's like, just, yeah, all these like dumb jokes and stuff.
That's great though. I mean, that's, you know, there was the only one I thought that I really enjoyed in recent memory that I didn't even play it, which was a shame because I enjoyed the trophy so much, was, I think it was Drawn to Death, David Jaffe's game.
Oh, yeah.
And every one of them was a full sentence. And if you read them together, it basically told you like a story. So as you were unlocking them, it was like,
I love that.
Bits to a story.
You know what you could do? You could do it like, did you guys ever have like odd bod trading cards? Do you have those?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, I know what you're talking about, but.
Oh yeah, you know them? Right. Yeah, but on the back of them, they had like these things called like the snaky tail, where like, it'd be like this like line of words, right? And it would kind of have like a full stop somewhere. It'd be like the last half of a sentence and then the first half. And if you lined up all these cards back to back, it would tell this long, like non-making sense story. It was like really cool. I reckon you could do that with all of them. Because then it's like, no matter which trophies you've unlocked, it would tell a story, you know?
Yeah, that would be it would be awesome.
Yeah, I'm going to do that. No one steal that idea. It's my idea. I shouldn't have said that on a podcast. Someone's going to do it now.
That's all right. I don't think anyone listens to us anyway. So
it's trademark.
No, that's awesome. Well, there you go. Now you throw that in for the next one. And so actually, that's a good question. Now that Desert Child's gone gold, now that it's out there, going to be out there for people to play. Do you kind of sit back and watch a little bit of how it does, or are you the kind of person who, I've got another idea, I know I've just spent 2 years working on this, but I'm going to jump right back into things?
I'm the kind of person who wants to jump back into things, but I've got like this real, like this nagging thing in the back of my head that's like, you will have better ideas and you will do better work if you take a month off. You know what I mean? Like, I always want to jump back in and do something new, or like, or just like immediately like, oh, I'm going to do a sequel to Desert Child. I've got all these ideas that I want to do. And I was like, just chill. I need to chill for a bit. But I've got some ideas. I've got some stuff I want to do.
Awesome.
Wait.
We're basically done now. Like the game comes out in like a week or whatever. And we've got like a few like, we're going to have some like patches and things that we're doing. And I've got some stuff to do, but I'm already like, maybe I'll just spend like a day just like working on this little prototype I've got. And I'm like, no, got to stop. Got to like relax for a little bit. So I'm trying to like convince myself not to do anything until like after Christmas, but I don't know. I'll probably like do something stupid. I haven't made a stupid game in a little while. Like I have like my Game Jolt like profile and portfolio is just like all these really dumb little games that I used to make, and yeah, it's been like 2 years since I've made one, so I really want to make a stupid one. So maybe I'll do that. I don't know. I think it was like Ludum Dare was this weekend, and I kind of like missed out on that, so a bit bummed. But I've got like what is it? Global Game Jam that's in like January, I think. I might not even be around, but yeah, I usually do that with Lewis Tolman, young Lewis, and we've made some pretty weird things, and I'm looking forward to like doing that again. Yeah,
cool. Sweet. Now, when you I guess before we kind of start to wrap things up here, when you were planning on when you were working on Desert Child, and you teamed up with Acapulco Games, was kind of PS4 and Switch and consoles kind of something that was in the back of your head, or were you just like, hey, I'll get this done and throw it on Steam? I mean, because I'm kind of curious about that part of the process, if that's something that you set out to do, or if that's something that, as a publisher, they approach you and say, we want to take this route.
So getting it like simultaneously on like every platform was sort of them being able to do that, and like kind of putting the money and the man hours behind making that happen. I don't think like I could have done that. But the Switch was always sort of on the table, because at the same E3 that I met them, I went and I had lunch at this place and just totally by accident, I sat next to this guy and we just started talking, and he's just like, oh, you're here for E3, blah, blah. And he's like, yeah, I work for this little company. What do you do? And I'm just like, oh, you know, make video games. And turned out he was Kirk Scott, like the publisher and developer relations guy for indie games at Nintendo of America. And I was like, oh, well, check that. Yeah. And he's just like, I just sat next to him at some restaurant randomly in LA, a city of 7 million people or something crazy. And it's like, this guy is just like, hey, do you have a game? I'm just here. So, yeah, and then I showed it to him on my phone, and he was just like, whoa, that's awesome. Oh, we want that on the Switch. And I was like, yeah, awesome. So that was kind of always there, all right, I'm going to do this. And then, yeah, Akabaro, are from LA, and yeah, they can actually get that all to happen. I was just kind of yeah, cool. I'll just email you a build. What happens here? You know what I mean? And Kirk's like, no, there's a process you go through. I'm like, oh yeah, okay, cool. But yeah, I'm not great at organizing all that stuff. Yeah, and then they I did a Kickstarter kind of afterwards, and then all the all the platforms sort of just lined up really well. And yeah, I don't know, it just sort of happened that way, I guess. I'm sitting here yeah, it just sort of happens. Isn't that what happens? And I'm going to have David and Yoon Sung and stuff listening to this podcast later being it doesn't just happen. It was a lot of work. You know? That's kind of how, that's kind of it. That's sort of the big draw of a publisher, is you can get stuff like that to happen.
That's amazing. That's great. That was quite the E3 for you then.
Yeah,
it sounds like
a real crazy trip. Now that I'm thinking about it. Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's awesome. So Oscar, this is your opportunity, if you kind of want to plug, where we can find you, where we can, people can kind of follow you, whether it's, an Instagram or Twitter or a website, but just kind of give our listeners some information about yourself in terms of where they can find you.
Yeah, well, I'm on Twitter at Moomomang, so MOOMOOMANG, and yeah, that's probably the best place to check it out. I post about Desert Child and stuff. Yeah, and if you want to see the trailers and everything, you can check me out on YouTube, I guess, just Oscar Brittain, my name. And yeah, I don't know, Desert Child has a website. You can go to desertchildgame.com. That's a funky little website I set up. Yeah, I don't know. We're going to be in the Kind of Funny Games showcase on the 8th, I think it is. And,
nice. I was going to ask if you were going to be part of that, because I think he's got something like 60 plus games.
Yeah. We're like, oh sweet, we got in this cool thing. It's going to be super exclusive, and it's going to be 60 games. I was like, I don't feel that special anymore. No, I mean that's awesome.
Yeah, every time Rob and I talk about it, there's more and more games.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. I'm really, just as a lover of video games, really looking forward to seeing what that does in terms of it's because it's I didn't realize there was going to be all these AAA kind of games and stuff, and it's a big thing. So that's kind of cool. But yeah, we're going to be in that, so check it out.
Yeah, he's made it such a big deal, which is crazy.
Yeah. It's good. I mean, what's happened with Sony? They're we're not doing PlayStation Experience and we're not doing E3. And it's oh, well, someone else is going to do it for you, I guess. I don't know. Maybe that was their plan. They knew that someone else would do it. I don't know. But then after that, we're in the, I think, we're going to, we're just on all the platforms on the 11th, I think. So, Switch. I think we're up, depending on where you are, you can pre-order in Europe and Australia, I think, on PlayStation at the moment. And then in North America, I think you can pre-order on Switch, but not in Australia. It's all over the place at the moment. But but I think by I think the 8th, when we're in that thing, it's up on everything for wish listing or pre-order or whatever. So yeah, and check it out on Steam as well. Yeah,
I did check. I think it's on PlayStation.
Yeah, is it? It's up there now, is it? Okay. Yeah, I can only check.
I think so. I looked for it the other day. I have to double check.
Yeah, but it's on Mac and Linux as well. So if you want to check it out on those, it's on everything. If you don't buy this game and you come to me and you're like, oh yeah, it's not on the platform I like, I'm gonna call BS, because It is. It definitely is.
So don't tweet at him and tell him that.
Yeah. Oh, there's going to be something. It's like, why isn't this on the Commodore 64 or something crazy? Yeah. It's on GOG
PC
as well.
Junior.
I want to shout out GOG because I really like that platform as well. So if you want like the DRM free copy, I think GOG is the way to go. Yeah,
Cool.
that's about it.
Well, we appreciate you stopping by, Oscar. I'm looking forward to playing this. Looking forward to checking it out. Like I said, I'm glad you stopped by because as soon as I watched a couple of those trailers, it was just it's one of those ones day one for me. I know I can't wait to pick up and play. And so we appreciate you hanging out with us today and tell us a little bit about the process and about your experience with it. And we look forward to this one and whatever you decide to do in the future too, as well.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks. It was really fun. I love doing these things.
Well, we loved having you. Thanks.
All right. Well, we appreciate Oscar stopping by to hang out with us today.
Yeah, that's pretty great.
Yeah, it was really good. So definitely go check out Desert Child. Now, the funny thing is we're going to read the drop, but because we've recorded this a bit ahead of time with Oscar, his game's not going to be actually on the drop this week for us, but we'll get to it next week on the podcast, and certainly by then it'll be out and you guys can play it and check it out. But I do want to share the games that came out the past week because, goodness, Matt, they are ridiculous.
Oh, they certainly are, Robert. I'm excited.
And there are a lot of them, so strap in.
Yeah, get ready for this, folks.
So,
you want to start?
You want to start?
Yeah, I can start.
Yeah, I'll let you start.
Arca's Path VR, PSVR Digital. Trapped in the enchanting simulated world of Arca, it is up to you to find a path through the labyrinth and break free. With intuitive hands-free gameplay, Arca's Path is an atmospheric VR gaming experience.
Nice. Now, just when you thought couldn't get any better, we've got Astrology and Horoscope Premium Edition. PS4 digital, this is out 12/6. So this came out last week. 2019 Astrology and Horoscopes Premium is the most luxury astrology, horoscope and numerology application. Learn your love horoscope in style. Get detailed daily predictions of tomorrow and yesterday based on biorhythms.
Ooh, biorhythms. Sweet. All right, here we go.
Strap in.
Oh, good Lord. All right. Atelier? Maruru. Atelier Maruru, The Apprentice of Arland, DX. PS4 digital out 12/5. Third release in the Arland series, Princess of the Small Frontier Country of Arles, Maruru plans to use alchemy to stimulate the growth of her small country. Use synthesis, explore, and battle to increase the population within the time limit and boost the advancement of the kingdom.
Someone completely plugged that into Google Translate.
Yes.
So not to be outdone, we've got Atelier Rorona, The Alchemist of Arland, also DX, PS4 digital. First release in the Arland series. The main character, Rorona, must save her atelier from being closed by the kingdom. Using synthesis, exploration, and battle. Gain recognition for the atelier and save it from being closed.
Ooh. All right. Last one. We had the first and the third, but now we've got to go to the second. Atelier Totori, The Adventurer of Arland DX, PS4 digital. The second release in the Arland series in a search for her missing mother, Totori tours the world of Arland as an adventurer accompanied by her friends. Use synthesis, explore, and battle to fulfill requests. To fulfill requests, raise her rank as an adventurer and venture into brand new lands.
It must be Ladies Week on the drop this week because this next one is Battle Princess Madeline.
Ooh.
PS4 digital. Battle Princess Madeline is a game that follows the journey of a young knight in training, Madeline, and her ghostly pet dog, Fritzy. They set out on a journey to save her kingdom and her family from the clutches of an evil wizard. There's a lot of kingdoms this week and a lot of lady heroines.
Here's another one. I mean, it's not a person, but it's still a girl. Betty Bat's Treasure Hunt, PS4 digital. Play as Betty Bat as she travels the world collecting gems. Tired of living in caves? The bats of the world have gathered up a enough gems to buy a castle. You must reach your fellow bats and gather their gems before the birds have a chance to steal them.
Oh my. That parakeet looks fierce on the front
That
there.
sounds so good.
Emerald Shores is PS Vita digital cross-buy.
cross-buy.
Emerald Shores is a challenging 16-bit platformer with a bunch of twists. Level up, take on rewarding side quests, play unique minigames, unlock secret levels, raise a pet monster, fight an optional mega leveled beast of a boss, and more.
Ooh, more.
Oh, I'm excited about this next one.
Right? Energy Cycle Edge, PS4, PS Vita, digital, 12.5 out. Energy Cycle Edge is the sequel to the puzzle game Energy Cycle. The main idea is the same, but in Energy Cycle Edge, most part of puzzles are 3D. Most part of puzzles. That's what it says, Robert. I didn't write it, I read it. So you'll need to monitor the colors within several linked layers, adding a new facet to the familiar gameplay.
I'm pretty sure I played the first one, and it's like a super easy platinum most of the time.
Cool. Right up your alley.
Like, and they're always like, they're always like $1.50 or $3 for that game.
Sweet.
Again, though, another female graces the cover there.
Yeah.
All right. Escape game. Aloha. PS4 digital. You are in a beautiful villa overlooking the sea in Hawaii. Find and combine items, solve puzzles, and then escape. After the ending, you can play hide and seek with animals. Can you find them all?
The question is, Robert, were you saying hello or goodbye? When you said hello.
I'm going to say I was saying goodbye to the room and hello to all the animals I'm playing hide and seek with.
Oh, there you go. Perfect. Well, up next is Gnome's Garden New Home, PS4 digital. Gnome's Garden New Home, a continuation of the exciting fantasy strategy game about the world of gnomes. Obtain the crystal of eternal light and return prosperity.
Guns and Stories, Bulletproof VR, PSVR, out digital. All right.
Out digital.
Out digital. I know. I was looking at the out 12.7. Yeah. Bulletproof is a dynamic and fun VR Western shooter that fully immerses players into weird Wild West. The 3 W's. Visit beautiful locations with Old Man Bill and try many weapons under the rhythm of the dynamic music, jokes, and cynical humor.
This next one looks a little creepy. From the
It's a prequel, it looks like.
Yeah, I like it though. Hello Neighbor, Hide and Seek. PS4 digital retail out 12.7. Hello Neighbor, Hide and Seek follows the tragic story of the Neighbors family in this dramatic prequel to Hello Neighbor. The game explains events that lead up to the original stealth horror hit Hello Neighbor.
Jagged Alliance, Rage. PS4 digital out 12.6 and retail as well. Set 20 years after the first Jagged Alliance. This spin-off lets you experience a road trip into jungle hell to test your mind and body to the limits.
Ooh, we talked about it last week on the podcast. Just Cause 4, PS4 digital retail. Just Cause 4 sees rogue agent Rico Rodriguez land in Solis to hunt down the truth about his past at any cost. Strap into your wingsuit, equip your fully customizable grappling hook, and get ready to bring the thunder. Ooh, there's going to be such good storms in it.
All right. The Last Remnant. PS4 digital out 12.6. I feel like this is first off, it is a remaster, but I feel like I might have had my eye on this one. I might be wrong. Last released in 2008, The Last Remnant captured the hearts and minds of gamers with its enthralling story, countless characters, and intricate battle system. Now this classic RPG is back with a remastered version. It's coming to PS4 with even more beautiful graphics, enhanced via an updated game engine. I feel like I was interested in that one, but I might be wrong.
I don't know, maybe. See, this one's a little confusing because it says Life of Pixel, but the screen art says Super Life of Pixel. So, I don't know. I'm going to go with Life of Pixel because that's what it says. PS4, PS Vita digital cross-buy. Join Pixel as he quests through gaming history, teleporting across the most iconic video game systems of generations past. He'll have to jump, dodge, and play smart if he wants to survive all the traps, puzzles, and enemies waiting to take him down at every turn.
Nice.
That'd be kind of interesting if you actually get to play through like Nintendo, Super Nintendo, Genesis, N64, PlayStation 1. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
We'll see.
All right. Time for me to bust out my Spanish, I guess.
Yeah. Where's your wife? Bring her on.
I know. Monica E.A. Guerra dos Colhos. That's my best. Is a couch co-op game for 1 to 4 players with a focus on teamwork and cooperation, featuring the ability to play as a group with many heroes from the Brazilian IP Monica and Friends. Everyone has a different role to help defend the castles against the Smudge Horde.
I mean, these women are killing it this week, man. All right.
Are those women?
Well, not this one, though. Monster Boy and the Cursed King. PS4 digital retail. Enjoy a colorful action adventure game made alongside Ryuichi Nishizawa. That's as best I could do. Creator of the original Wonder Boy in Monster World series. This game borrows the best from the classic series to deliver a fresh, modern adventure with fun gameplay, memorable music, and gorgeous hand-drawn animations.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
This next one I'm actually kind of excited about.
This cover art looks intense.
I've had my eye on this one for a while. Mutant Year Zero, Road to Eden, PS4 digital. I just didn't realize it was coming out. Mutant Year Zero, Road to Eden is a tactical adventure game combining turn-based combat with real-time exploration, story, stealth, and strategy. Explore a post-human Earth where mankind has been eradicated by climate change, nuclear war, and pandemics. Will your team of mutants survive the zone?
Ooh, I don't know. All right. Override, Mech City Brawl, PS4 digital. No gears, no glory. Control gigantic robots and duke it out across fantastic cityscapes in this 3D mech-based brawler. Epic and explosive battles await with distinctive mechs in local and online versus mode. Party co-op with 2 to 4 players and a single-player campaign.
All right, I'm going to combine these next two because if you actually look on the drop, they're listed separately and then listed together.
So you mean next
I'm just
three?
going to... Next 3, I'm sorry. So Persona 3, Dancing in Moonlight, Persona 5, Dancing in Starlight, and Persona Dancing Endless Night Bundle all come out on PS4 with VR mode and PS Vita. Although, oddly enough, the bundles doesn't say it's available on Vita, so I don't know what's going on there. So let me just give you a little bit of each here real quick. Face-to-face with an Fanatic Velvet Room resident, the C's are forced to perform in a mysterious dance party. Test your rhythm-based gameplay skills and dominate the dance floor. And in Persona 5, face-to-face with an enigmatic Velvet Room residents, the Phantom Thieves are forced to perform in a mysterious dance party. Test your rhythm-based gameplay skills and steal some hearts on the dance floor. And so they are... You also, in that bundle, which is $100, which is ridiculous, you also get Persona 4 Dancing All Night as well. So you actually get 3 games in the bundle.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, they don't have the 4th one by itself.
No, well, it came out
A while
4 years ago.
Yeah, okay. All right. Picture Party VR. Classic drawn guest party fun with a unique VR twist. Gather your friends or family. Draw with your head in VR instead of your... Wait, what? Draw with your head in VR instead of your hands and have them look at the TV to guess what you're trying to draw. That sounds awesome.
You know what's terrible? That sentence is just so butchered. All right.
Yeah, for sure.
Because it literally is basically implying have your hands look at the TV to guess what you're trying to draw.
Yep.
But I think they mean your friends or family.
Yep.
All right. Punctuation goes a long way. PUBG comes to PS4 digital, finally. Land, loot, and outwit your opponents to become the last player left standing in a thrilling battle royale game experience full of unexpected adrenaline-pumping moments.
Prison Boss VR. Prison Boss VR is a crafting and trading game that turns turning. What?
It's turns turning, yeah.
Wow. Okay, yeah. Prison Boss VR is a crafting and trading game that's turning your VR space into a jail cell. Customize your cell as your reputation grows. Earn cash. Oh wow, this is just awesome. This is well written. Earn cash until you can't store it anymore and become the prison boss.
Goodness. And it looks like Humpty Dumpty and a potato are squaring off.
It does.
Goodness, I love it. Subnautica, PS4 digital retail. Subnautica is an underwater adventure game set on an alien ocean planet. A massive open world full of wonder and peril awaits you. Last but not least, take us home.
Thronebreaker, The Witcher Tales. Ooh, this might be up your alley, Robert.
I know, I didn't know this was coming
Thronebreaker
out.
is a single-player role-playing game set in the world of The Witcher. that combines narrative-driven exploration with unique puzzles and card battle mechanics. Ooh, card battle? Like Gwent, maybe?
I think so. I didn't even know that was coming out. I need to look that up because
You sure do.
I didn't know it was a thing.
Just in case you didn't know, when Rob said PUBG, that stands for Player Unknown's Battlegrounds.
Everybody knows what PUBG is.
I don't know. Just so you know, I don't know. Just for the layman out there, Robert.
The layman.
Yep. The
Yep.
layman.
Oh, you know what? This looks pretty good.
Yeah, I know. I told you.
I'm talking about the Thronebreaker thing.
I know what you're talking about.
Oh, man, that looks good. All right. Anyway, all right. Well, thanks again for hanging out with us.
Appreciate you stopping by.
Yeah, that was see you soon. We'll return next week with a full-out discussion over the news. We'll probably talk about Desert Child because I'll be picking that up day one. And remember, you can write into us at weare1ur2@gmail.com. You can find us on our website at weare1ur2games.com and write in there. Click the little contact link. We do listen to your emails and we'll read them on air for you. You can also find me at Twitter at weare1ur2. That information is all on our website as well. And until next time, Matt.
Game on.
Game on.
This is the outro music. It's an Australian outro music. Good day. Good day. Put another strip on the barbie. Outro music.